Dear students, welcome to the part 7 of module 3. This video is dealing with multiple linear regression. Multiple linear regression is a kind of regression model. In this particular regression model, we are having more than one independent variable. In case of simple linear regression, we are having one independent variable and one dependent variable. In case of multiple linear regression, the basic difference from the simple from multiple to simple is that in multiple we are having more than one independent variable, and it is an extension of simple linear regression. The goal in both cases is similar. Whatever it may be, simple linear regression or multiple linear regression, the goal is same. We have to find out the beta coefficients that minimize the prediction error of a linear equation. The key difference between this multiple linear regression and simple linear regression is that there are some additional terms for additional independent variables. That is, there are some additional coefficients for additional independent variables. The general format of a multiple linear regression equation is y is equal to alpha plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus etc. beta I xi plus epsilon. Here alpha is the intercept term which is similar in the case of beta in simple linear regression, beta 0 in simple linear regression. So alpha is the intercept term. Beta 1 is the coefficient of x1, beta 2 is the coefficient of x2, etc. Beta I is the coefficient of xi. Here x1, x2, etc. xi are the independent variables which are related to this prediction of y variable. Then epsilon is the residual term or error term. So the equation is like this: y is equal to alpha plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus etc. beta I xi plus epsilon. And in case of multiple linear regression, a coefficient is provided for each feature. So in the previous equation, we see that x1, x2, etc. xi are the independent variables, and for each independent variable, a coefficient is there like beta 1 for x1, beta 2 for x2, etc. beta I for xi. So a coefficient is provided for each feature. This allows each feature to have a separate estimated effect on the value of y. Because of the presence of this coefficient, it says that each feature is having a separate effect on the value of y, that is on the value of this dependent variable. That is, y changes by the amount of beta I for each unit increase in xi. For every xi, there will be a coefficient beta I, and the value of y will change depending upon the value of xi and the amount that is specified in beta I. So the value for y changes by the amount beta I for each unit increase in xi. For each unit increase in xi, there will be a specified value for beta I, and that beta I change is reflected in the y variable. When all independent variables are 0, then we can say that is all independent variables are 0 means all xi's are 0. Then we can say that y is equal to alpha. The value of y should be equal to alpha. Alpha is the intercept value. Since the intercept alpha is really no different than any other regression parameter, it is also sometimes denoted as beta 0 or beta naught. In the previous simple linear regression format, we say that y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x plus epsilon. Here, instead of beta 0, we represent it as alpha. But in most of the notations, instead of alpha, it is specified by beta naught itself or beta 0 itself. Then intercept is unrelated to any of the independent x variables. The intercept value is not related to any of the x variables. So we are having beta 0 with us. Imagine this beta 0 as if it is were being multiplied by a term x0, which is a constant with the value 1. So in order to make the equation in a prompt way, we add one more term, that is x0. x0 is a constant value, or x0 is a constant value with value 1, which does not make any changes to the value beta 0. So we can transform the equation into this format: y is equal to beta 0 x0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus etc. beta I xi plus epsilon. So we can say that beta I xi plus epsilon, where I ranges from 0 to a particular value. So this x0 value is added to this equation in order to make the equation like this. So x0 should always take the value, or x dot should always take the value 1, so that there will be no change to the value in beta 0. Then in order to estimate the values of the regression parameter, what we have to do is each observed value of the dependent variable y must be related to the observed value of the independent x variables using the regression equation in the previous form. We already formulate a regression equation, that is y is equal to beta naught x naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus etc. beta I xi plus epsilon. So in order to determine the value of dependent variable y, we have to observe the corresponding x variables, we have to observe the values of independent x variables which are used in the regression equation. And now we are having a figure with us. The following figure illustrates this structure. Here you can see some y values are there. Then x1, x0, x1, x2, x3, then corresponding x values can be specified in this particular columns, and some coefficients are there. Beta 0 is the coefficient associated with x0, beta 1 is the coefficient associated with x1, and beta 2 is the coefficient associated with x2. Then beta 3 is the coefficient associated with x3. So x0, the coefficient is beta 0, x1 beta 1, x2 beta 2, x3 beta 3. Here this squared portion, this matrix should represent the values of x0. I already say that x0 is always taking one value, so that there will be no change for beta 0. So in all the cases, in all the examples, x0 is having the value 1. Then x1 various values can be represented in these columns, x2 different values can be represented in this column, then different value of x3 can be represented in these columns. So what should be here, this position is for identifying the value of y with these data, and this is the error term array. This array can represent the error value for this particular calculation. Likewise, the many rows and columns of data illustrated in the preceded figure can be described in a condensed formulation using the bold font matrix notation to indicate that each of the terms represent multiple values. So for a particular x1 variable, we are having multiple values. For x2 variable, we are having multiple values. Likewise, that is why a matrix notation is given in the corresponding previous figure. So our equation is like this: y is equal to beta x plus epsilon. So the dependent variable is now a vector y with a row for every example. So in the previous diagram, we can say that y is an array. Y can take multiple values for multiple x values. The independent variables have been combined into a matrix X with a column for each figure. We already seen the figure that X is like a matrix. Then an additional column of one values for the interceptor. So we add a variable called x0, which represents a constant value 1, that will be added for all the rows. Each column has a row for every example. Then the regression coefficients beta and residual errors epsilon are also now vectors. So epsilon itself can be termed as a vector for every x values. This is the explanation of the previous diagram. The goal is now to solve for beta, the vector of regression coefficient that minimizes the sum of squared errors between the predicted and actual y values. So our goal is to determine the value for beta. Finding optimal solution requires the use of matrix algebra. In order to find out the optimal solution, we have to use the matrix concept. The best estimate of the vector beta can be computed as like this. Beta cap should be equal to x transpose into x transpose multiplied with x, then that value is inverse, that should be multiplied with x transpose into y. So you just study this formula to find out the best estimate for the vector beta. This is actually computed in matrix algebra. So this solution can uses a pair of matrix operation. The T denotes the transpose of the matrix X. Then a negative exponent or matrix inverse can be calculated by -1. Then using R's built-in matrix operation, we can implement it as a simple multiple regression learner. Using the R programming language, we can compute it easily. Now we can see the strengths and weaknesses of multiple linear regression. The strengths are by far the most common approach for modeling numeric data. And multiple linear regression, we know that multiple linear regression, we are having one dependent variable and multiple independent variables are there. This multiple independent variable can make the prediction very good prediction for the dependent variable, can be adapted to model almost any modeling task. This multiple linear regression can be used for multiple modeling tasks. It can be used in every fields. Provides estimates of both the strength and size of the relationship among features and the outcome. This multiple linear regression can provide estimate about the strength and size of the relationship among various features that are specified in the data set. Then we can see the weakness or disadvantages of this multiple linear regression. Make strong assumptions about the data. So this multiple linear regression, we are having one dependent variable and multiple independent variables are there. This by finding out the relationship, we can make we assume that there should be some strong relationship. We our assumptions about the data is strong by using this multiple linear regression. That is one of the disadvantage. The models form must be specified by the user in advance and does not handle missing data. Only works with numeric features, so categorical data requires extra processing. We have to convert this categorical data to numerical features, then only it should be worked with multiple linear regression, and requires some knowledge of statistics to understand the model. In order to understand the model properly, we need some mathematical knowledge, especially we dealing with the statistical concepts, then matrix algebra is needed. So in order to catch this multiple linear regression easily, we are having some knowledge about statistics as well as matrix algebra. So these are the strengths and weaknesses of multiple linear regression. Hope you understood the basics of multiple linear regression. Thank you.